For the past 2 years, Satan has chose to speak to me at length on the night of April 30th. And that was the night that I did my dedication several years ago. But for 2004 and 2005, he spoke to me at length on the night of April 30th, and it was like 2 in the morning. I waited to perform my ritual because I know that he and his demons are busy. A lot of people are making their dedication that night and that sort of thing. But he told me one thing, and I mentioned it several times in the e-groups, is he said there will be many catastrophes, like disasters and that. And he said, but don't worry. Okay, and we got to bear that in mind. It seems like every time we turn the news on now, I mean, we had Katrina, we had Hurricane Rita, we've got riots in Paris. We just had a huge tornado slam through Indiana. The Northeast was just flooded, the United States and that a few weeks back. But he reminds us, as dedicated Satanists, we need not worry. And the important thing is, though, that, everybody just keep a cool head and keep meditating type of deal. Like I said, one brother wrote to us, and his house was in the path of Hurricane Katrina, and his house was standing, and all the Christian houses were flattened. Some people, jump to conclusions in that, especially newbies, and they think, oh my, we've got Armageddon, this is the end of the world, this type of deal. No, it's not the end of the world. The cycle of the universe is, our solar system, that we go in cycles in our galaxy. The precession of the equinox is that type of deal, and the synodic vernal point where the constellations move backwards. We can see the pyramids were once aligned to the belt of Orion in Egypt, and Orion rises and sets. This type of thing is all natural, and basically we're at the end of an age. We're at the end of the age of Pisces, and we've had a long Pisces. For people who aren't real familiar with astrology, I'm a professional astrologer. I've been doing astrology for over 30 years. But the sign of Pisces, in a positive note, can be spiritual, that type of deal. But on a negative note, it's a sign of suffering and deception. And we've certainly had our suffering and deception on this earth as a result of these lying religions. So basically, this past 2,000-year reign of the sign of Pisces hasn't been very positive for humanity. And we're going into Satan's zone, okay? The sign of Aquarius. And Satan was the original water bearer, Ea, Enki, whose house is of water. Aquarius is the 11th sign of the zodiac, and 11 is one of the numbers of Satan, and 2, which indicates duality. The all is not one. The number of the enemy is 1, or 10. With Satan, it's always 2 or 11. So we realize, those of us who are spiritually aware, that there is a duality, and everything is not all is one, and all paths do not lead to the one. Maybe all right-hand paths lead to the one, but the left-hand path doesn't. We don't even mix with it. It's like a fork in the road, and you either take one side or you take the other. You take the left-hand path, a door is slammed shut behind you, a wall bricked up, and you must go on with that. The right-hand path you can get out of any time. You just don't feel like it. Somebody could be the Pope. That Pope, that child molesting Pope that they just had in the news. They cut him some slack for child molesting because he's the Pope now. But he could be the Pope and decide to walk out any day, any time after having sacraments up the ass. And it ain't no big deal. They're all false. But with the left-hand path is different. Satan is real. It's like when you are on the left-hand path and you make a dedication to Satan, you do rituals to Satan, you're going to find out that this is real. And, it's like you don't just walk away from it and say, well, I think I'm going to quit type of thing. We're going to hear a lot of deluded Christians, coming unglued out there. Oh, my, it's, we got earthquakes, we've got pestilences, oh, dear. And I suppose we got that bird flu coming up this winter and all that garbage. The thing to remember is we as Satanists have power. We have the power of meditation in our mind. We have knowledge that these people don't. And when they're thrown into a panic, pulling their hair out, going crazy and everything, it's like our meditation is going to keep us cool, and you keep building an aura of protection around you. You do it once or twice, it's not going to do a whole heck of a lot of good. But you keep your aura clean every day, and you keep building that aura of protection around yourself, and you keep invoking positive energy. And one of the most potent sources of energy that I've found is the sun. And the number of the square of the sun is 666. And the sun was very revered and worshipped in all of the ancient religions. So the sun is the giver of life, and it's also symbolized in the Ankh. If you look at several Egyptian carvings and paintings in the walls and images in the walls of the temples and the tombs of Egypt, you will find that the Ankh is related to the sun. But basically, I mean, you can go out there and get your power from the sun, you know. I mean, I look at, you know, a lot of these victims of disasters and that, you know, I think, well, you know, if they'd have been put in an aura of protection around themselves or something, you know, I think they'd be a little bit better off. They don't know where to turn to. And then, to make matters worse, they got these Christian preachers, you know, they go in there and they preach more lies to them when they're down. Some of these people are just so down, it isn't even funny. So they got to push that garbage on them, you know, just showing them how to be helpless. You know, at least Satan shows us how we can empower ourselves. He shows us how we can become independent. He has us grow, you know, to where we can take responsibility for our own lives and have confidence in knowing we're going to be okay. You know, the rest of these people out there, those who are without, they don't know what to do. They don't know why this is happening. They don't know what to do. You know, and then to make matters worse, like I said, that, you know, every time there's a problem or whatever, you know, the Christians get in there and they exploit that. You know, they use other people's suffering and other people's misfortune to further their lies, you know, and of course line their pockets with all kinds of money, you know, and they give a person problems, more problems than they had before, and before you know it, the person's paying out the ass to try to, you know, get rid of these problems, and it's like they're going further and further and further down in a hole, you know, that they're never going to get out of, you know, and it's really sad. But the important thing to remember is that, you know, with these disasters and that, we as dedicated Satanists, those of us who are dedicated to Satan, he's going to protect us. And we know how to protect ourselves, you know, and we can also protect our loved ones and our families. You know, I've got quite a bit on that in the meditation page of the Joy of Satan website, you know, different meditations you can use to put auras of protection around loved ones. And these work. I mean, you know, you get it real strong and you keep building it up and putting that energy into them, that aura is going to protect your loved ones. It's going to protect you, you know, as long as you don't wind up getting overextended with energy. That's another thing, because a lot of people try to take on too much. And when you're doing a spell or you know, working or whatever you're doing, you know, it's important to be like a laser. You don't want to scatter your energies like, you know, maybe I need this, I need that, you know, and I know how life is. I mean, in that one movie, Steven Seagal said, you know, about, you know, there's holes in a dam, you know, and one hole here, one hole there, and you plug that up, you got 5 other holes. You know, that's life. You know, but you need to, you know, set your priorities and, you know, what's most important, and basically is, you know, protecting yourself, because, I mean, anything can happen in this world. And Satan protects us, but he wants us to show, you know, show our own independence and protect ourselves as well through power meditation and do what we can for ourselves on our own. You know, we set a list of priorities. Well, what's most important to you? You know, is it, you know, everybody needs money, your health, love, you know, most of all protection, you know, getting yourself through every day. But, you know, making a list of priorities is important, and accomplishing your most important goals through the use of your mind. Okay, that's important. You know, and you don't want to be spreading yourself too thin, like take one thing at a time and put your all into it, you know, and, or at least if you have several, you know, issues that you have to, you know, take care of or something, don't do it all at one meditation, you know, like do one meditation earlier in the day, your day or whatever, you know, some people third shift like me, or, you know, and another one that's several hours later. I mean, your aura can take several things programmed into it at one time, but you don't ever want to, like, spread your energies too thin, because then they weaken and you don't get the results as you would if you're just putting 100% into something. But you know how life is. I mean, it's like, you know, you got one problem here, you know, and before you know it, another one comes up and bites you in the ass. So, I mean, you got to just do the best you can. But anyway, I mean, it's, you know, it's important to realize, you know, that, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people they're pulling their hair out. They're upset, they're hysterical, you know, then they believe this Christian garbage, oh, it's the end of the world, you know, and all this crap. You know, we need to just keep a cool head and realize that we as Satanists, regardless of what's happening in this world, you know, the Christians, they're the ones that are probably going to get it, because they, you know, they don't know what to do with themselves or anything. I mean, they're just living a lie. But we need to keep a calm head type of thing and realize that we're under Satan's protection, and to protect ourselves every day and not let any of this stuff get to us, because we're probably going to be seeing a lot. Okay, Satan told me quite a bit, which I'm not going to reveal everything. I mean, you know, on behalf, because he wants people that are close to him to keep his secrets. But the future doesn't look very good, and there's reasons why. Okay, and not all of this has to do with him. I mean, it's the enemy. You know, there's things going on out there, and there's changes that are made in that. But it's important, you know, meditation's so important. You keep a cool head, you know, and be confident. And, you know, it's always important to put an aura of protection around yourself. And no, it's not the end of the world. We're just going through a major transformation. That's all. Hail Satan.